Okay, I'm going to show how to cut out a tangram out of foam. I like to use my wife's cutting thing for material. It's got lines on it, and I can use those to line up when I'm cutting. I use that, and she's got this, whatever you call this little template thing here that has a nice straight edge to it. I use that, and then I use her little cutter. It's handy, except for it keeps popping in when it shouldn't, so I have to hold my thumb here to hold it down. And then I found a craft shop, a bunch of foam like these here, different colors, and so I'm going to make one out of the red right now, and I'll get that out. So it's just really thin foam. I don't like it this thin. In the game I've got, these are like 5 millimeters thick, and I like these a lot more, and they're professionally cut out. This is only about 2 millimeters, or maybe 3, and it's just about half as thick. So I don't know what that works out to be, but I can use these as templates to help me out. The reason why I'm cutting out a red one for this is because I'm actually making one that has blue in it, this color of blue, tangram art piece, and I don't have any blue that's thick. So just because I don't have the blue that's thick, I have to get these other colors of the same thickness, otherwise it looks really stupid. So here's how I go about it. Take one piece, put along here. The measurements at the beginning stage here are not important. I just get towards the edge because it's a little rounded on the edge and a little bent over, and so I really can't use that to have a nice sharp thing. So I just cut off the end. Oh, no, it was open. And when you cut, you want to go one way and then come back the other way. The reason why you don't want to go in one fell swoop there is because the rubber, it stretches, and as it cuts, it'll stretch that out, especially when you get to some of these points like this. It'll just pull them out and stretch them, and it just doesn't look good when it's stretched out like that. So you get a little cut this way and then you come back on it, or the other way, it doesn't matter. It'll keep it nice and tight still. Once you get that one in, then you just kind of turn this. I line it up on these lines here to make sure I've got a nice angle. Then again, just pull it in from the side. As you can see, it just overlaps this a little bit, and nice for me is that this template thing is the right dimension for what I want. It's about 4 inches, and that's what I want, is a tangram that's about 4 inches square. So again, I go up the one way and then down the other. Got to make sure you push all the way, otherwise it gets caught, and then you end up with a little nick in it there. Once you have 2 of them done, you don't even really need to use the lines anymore, although it doesn't hurt. You can just bring this along, and with your finger you can feel that it's nice and flat along it. So, and this is the width I want, so again, up and then back towards me, pushing down hard so that it cuts all the way through. And this is actually a piece you could use for something else if you want. If, for example, you only need a triangle or something, you could fit it on there, and so you could use it for other pieces. I actually only need a triangle, but I'm trying to show the whole thing. So once you get it here, then you got along there, and so up, and then again back down. Make sure this is nice and tight so the blade is up and down. There, that's now trash. So I now have a square because it's fitting the same way all the way around there. At this point, I take it and put it on these lines that you can't see on the film anymore, but I line up the bottom on the line and then the top on the line, and try to get it, to be honest, just a little bit to the right of that line, because the blade has a thickness to it, and when I put this across and line it up on the lines, it gives me the right spot to cut. And so it's just slightly off, not even a millimeter. I mean, it's just barely slightly off. Push down really hard because you don't want this to slip. Pull towards you and then away, all the way across. Make sure you've done it all the way. I keep pushing it here in case when I pull on this I don't get, look, see, I got a little teeny fleck there of a sliver, so that's going to show up. And that's not something I wanted, but it happens. Now for this one, take the top point and put it on the line and put the bottom across on this line. And once I get there, and again it's just 1/2 millimeter this way, so that when I line this up on the line, I've got it right where I want it. Push very hard, come down, go up, slide it out, then release. And there's your first 2 triangles that will make that part of the parallelogram, or I mean the tangram. And so I've got those. Now, because I have one of these, I can use them to make the rest of my thing. If you don't have that, if you don't have another piece to use as a template, so what I can do is put it across like this, and once it's there, slide this up on it, push it right up against it, put pressure, remove, and then I can cut here, and there's my piece. If you don't have one of those, you're kind of hosed, but what you can do is come across here and find the middle spot, because this piece is actually half the distance between here and here. It's got some thickness to it, so when you roll it, it doesn't show that, but it's half the distance. So what you need to do is measure out that distance, and you can do that on one of these measurement things, lining it up on the edges, and you'll see that it is 1, 2, 3 1/2. So that means you want to go 1 1/2 and 1/4. So 1 1/2 and then 1/4. So you would put this. You could actually measure it out. This has a ruler on it, so you can measure it out and identify that there's 1 3/4. And so you would put this down right on this side of that mark, and then cut it, because it's the halfway point. So just measure it out and get that. I have one of these, so I'm going to use one of these rather than have to worry about measuring that out like I just said. So if you've made one already, you're in the clear. So if you're going to make more, do it. And I'm right-handed, that's why I put the piece on the right-hand side. Slide this over, get this down here, hold it nice and flat, nice and hard to keep. You want to keep that from moving. And then I come down, and then I go up. Push real tight against this and keep it level so you get a nice good cut. And there's my piece. Same size as my template. Now, you've got 3 of the 7 you need. You now have this piece, little trapezoid, and to get the rest of it, really 1 cut here will give you this triangle, and then 1 cut here will give you the square, and then 1 cut there will give you the other triangle. So what you want to do is the first thing you can do is just cut this piece out. So line it up on, make this level here, and then put this across, and just come right down that edge there, and that will give you that triangle. Again, I have my template, so I'm going to use that. So rather than cut it that way, I will do it this way. And using my fingers and eyeballs, I line it up just right, stick it on there, and I can tell it's in the right spot. So then I take this, slide it up against it, make sure it's level. It moves in and out, so you want to make sure it's level. Pull off this, and then do that same cutting again. So now I have this piece. So at this point, you have, whether or not you have one to begin with, you've just pulled this off, so you can put this over here, and there's your new template for the square. So you can cut this along here. I could do that, but like I said, I have my own template. So I put this on here, and the reason why your triangle will work as a template is because the triangle is half the square, literally. It's measured out that way for a proper tangram, and so that works, but I don't need to do it that way, and I'm not going to. So then I come and put it on like that, hold it flat, put pressure, come this way and then up, and there's my square, the same size as that square. Now, again, if you were doing your own and you didn't have a template, you could then take this one and put it down. This is the one I just cut out. And so you take that, get it along this edge here and along this edge here, make it nice and level, and just make sure you get it just right. Put your straight edge along it again, hold it down flat, slide that off, cut down, cut up, separate it, and there you go. Now you have, let me pull out the template pieces, let me bring back these. Now you have your own tangram made of foam. Whether that foam is thick or thin, you still have your tangram, and you can do things with that tangram, you know, whatever art or practice or fun or shapes or whatever it is you want to do. There's your piece. Hard to keep together, but that's it.